How to go bankless. Hello and welcome to our channel Pursuit of Wealth. This channel is your ultimate destination for learning about finance and wealth, investing and crypto, informational and educational trends in finance management. If you are someone who wishes to become wealthy and looking for smart money management options, then we are fortunate to have found each other. The transition which the world has made from cash to paperless money has been quite fruitful to say the least. People are not worried about them being robbed on the street or their money being stolen anymore because they know that isn't going to happen anymore since they don't directly carry cash with themselves. That doesn't mean all their problems have gone away. Absolutely not. One important thing that people who value their money are working towards is going bankless. This might seem quite confusing that you are planning to go bankless because eventually banks are the institutes which give us our money. So, how can one opt to keep their money safe with themselves without the operation of banks? Although personal finances are made so much easier with a bank being present in the picture, but there are good reasons to live without a bank, especially when your money is being concerned. It might be temporary while you fix your financial issues or the problems that you've had with banks in recent times. Now you've taken the decision to give up on banks entirely, and it is a decision by which you will stand by. Either way, it is important to know how your money will function without the need for a bank. Is it good or bad? In the age of prepaid debit cards and outlets where checks can be cashed, there is now a lesser need for banks than ever. But if you choose to go bankless, then there could be a very good reason behind this. Here are some things you should consider if you're going bankless. 1. How much debt do you have? If you have a large number of bills every month, you will need to come up with a better strategy to pay them off. It might not be worth running to the post office every now and then in order to purchase a money order for $1.50, or charging your prepaid card, which charges around $3 for every transaction. For this case, it might be sensible to keep a bank account, but since you've decided to get rid of it, then this point holds very little importance. 2. How do you plan to pay your bills? If you plan to pay your bills without a bank, then you will need to determine where the creditor's payment centers are currently located, as well as the types of payment they will be accepting. Cash is going to work most times, and particularly when you're dealing in person. Sometimes, that could be a problem when you're carrying out to deal with a vendor who doesn't live in the same city as you. 3. Will paying cash hurt in the long run? At times, creditors will be requiring automatic payment. Several times those credits will be offering discount rates due to your bank's autopay status. Make sure you won't be penalized by those companies just for going bankless. Going bankless is your choice, and the vendors that you pay your money to should respect your choice and offer you an alternate method of payment. 4. Do you travel frequently? Consider that you've stopped using credit cards altogether, as well as banks. You will need to consider the following. Most hotels prefer to use credit cards instead of a debit card. If they do accept a debit card, then they will require a second form of ID, such as a utility bill or bank statement. Several hotels and car agencies pre-authorize hundreds of dollars on your prepaid card. This means that you won't be able to access money of your own until funds are released back to you. Once you're done availing their services, that is when you will be returned the money. If you decide to go bank-free and you carry out a lot of traveling, that is where you'll need more money in reserve than normal. 5. Do you receive large checks frequently? If you have a very high salary, then maybe you do work on a contractual, which means large retainer fees. Whatever the case is, you'll need to think over how much you're going to cash in those checks. Several states put a cap on how much a check cashing vendor is able to charge. Usually about 1.5%, but that can potentially grow on and add up to hundreds of dollars later on. If the value is anything above $10,000, then it will be reported to the IRS. Now that we've gone through whether going bankless is good or bad for you, we shall be looking into the ways you can go bankless. Here are the ways. Having a prepaid debit card. Prepaid debit cards are beneficial in the sense where you only use the money which you load onto the card. You can load the money onto it directly without needing a bank. Of course, that doesn't mean that there are no charges for a prepaid debit card. You have to pay decline fees, ATM fees, reload fees, and much more. They don't need a certain minimum limit in order to be opened or maintained as compared to bank accounts. The biggest advantage of a prepaid debit card is that you aren't able to spend more than the limit that is present on your card. This will prevent you from going into debt. Although, there are several cards which charge you a certain fee if you buy something that exceeds the credit which is available on your card. You also have miscellaneous fees for prepaid credit cards for monthly maintenance. Different cards have a variety of options where their fee varies according to the user. Everyday spending. Going cashless is something that every economy hopes to achieve soon, but there is still time for many countries to make this a reality. Many people who have daily expenses still use cash. Be it utilities or leisure activities, cash will remain the most popular payment method. The major disadvantage is carrying the cash with you. This, as mentioned earlier, isn't safe. Also, if the cash is lost, you aren't getting it back. Keep that in mind. Obtaining cash is a problem in itself. You aren't able to withdraw money using an ATM if you aren't a bank user. Keep in mind that large bills may be easy to handle because you might not go to an ATM every now and then, but sellers and servicemen do not tend to accept anything which is higher than a 20. Instead, make a habit of using smaller valued bills because things like the subway or buses. Pay your bills when you are not a bank user. Using cash isn't always the most convenient fix around for not having a bank account. This is because many utility companies, phone companies, insurance companies, and services you've subscribed to usually prefer getting paid by check, card, or a straight bank account transfer. If you're looking to put only cash to use, then you can ask the companies that bill you to let you know when you can make the payment and give the money in person. Several local offices and vendors permit paying at utility, convenience stores using methods such as Western Union. As mentioned earlier, prepaid cards make things so much less of a hassle. Many cards offer you to pay your bill online. Cashing in checks. You might get paid using check at times, but what if you don't have your bank account? Here, you will have very few options by which you can cash it in. The best option, if you can have in this situation, is to cash it into the bank of the check writer. Keep in mind that you will need to pay a small fee if you are not the account holder, because in case you don't, then the bank might end up not cashing in your check. Just a heads up. A number of retailers provide check cashing for free, but big retailers waive off the charge if you will transfer the check's amount to their store cards. Storing money. One good thing that banks do is keep your money safely for you. Because you can't keep large amounts of cash in your house, can you? It is a huge risk to just go around having huge loads of money on your hands or in the house because you could either get robbed or a rat could eat all your dollar bills. If you plan to live completely bank-free, then it is better to get yourself a safe which is immune to fire, as well as finding the right place to install it in your home. Loan up. Bank accounts ease the process of borrowing money and obtaining loans because lenders usually ask your bank account information, and whenever you request for any loan, they are able to fund that loan and track exactly where the cash is going. When you don't have a bank at your service, your borrowing options are eventually limited because you are left with lenders that are less competitive. These include loan firms and lenders who have incredibly high fees when using them for a loan. Other alternatives to obtain a loan include a credit union or small localized banks. It is difficult to obtain a loan from them, but it's worth a shot. Going bankless isn't everybody's cup of tea, but with banks and their restrictions being strengthened every passing day, it really makes people question that they are allowed to even use their money freely. We've mentioned some of the ways above where you can obtain money if you don't have a bank, and these methods are more or less helpful if you work on them. So, that's pretty much it for the video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and press the bell icon for more amazing content about wealth management and finance-related videos. Success is coming your way. Keep your doors open. See ya, till the next time.